Hello and welcome to World Today. I'm Wang Zhigang in Beijing. Chinese authorities are briefing the media on the country's development in the science and technology fields over the past 10 years. Now let's take a listen. Well, today's briefing is part of a series of news conferences providing updates on China's development over the past decade. It comes ahead of the country's 20th National Congress.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the press conference of the Central Publicity Department of the CPC Central Committee. Today we have the 6th press conference in the series of China in the past decade. We're honored to have with us Mr. Wang Zhigang, Minister of Science and Technology, Mr. Hou Jianguo, President of the Chinese Academy of Sciences, Mr. Li Xiaohong, President of the Chinese Academy of Engineering, Mr. Zhang Yuzhao, Vice President and Chief Executive Secretary of the Secretariat of China Association for Science and Technology, and Mr. Li Jinghai, President of National Natural Science Foundation of China. We will brief you on China's scientific and technological advances of the past decade. I will first give the floor to Mr. Wang Jianguo. To Mr. Wang Zhigang. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I want to first thank you for your long-term interest and support to the endeavor of science, technology, and innovation. It's great to join other leading officials from science, technology, and innovation sectors, and to brief you on the development and reform of China's scientific and technological sectors over the past decade. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core has placed science, technology, and innovation, or STI, at the center of national development, taken innovation as the top driving force for development. And by seizing the trend of the times, overall plans were put in place. We have implemented the strategy of innovation-driven development and the strategic targets to build national strength in science and technology. We have pursued a path of Chinese characteristics in strengthening scientific and technological strength and make continuous development. Over the past decade, under the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee and with the joint efforts of scientific and technological professionals nationwide, China's S&T undertakings have undergone profound historic changes as a whole. China has become an innovative country and entered a new stage of building itself into a high-standard, self-reliant powerhouse. S&T input rose to 2.979 trillion yuan in 2021. And R&D input rose tremendously. Our ranking in global index rose from 34th place in 2012 to the 12th place in 2022. China is playing a more important role in the global research picture. China is an important contributor to solving global scientific issues. Like I just said, we have moved up the index by many places. Over the years, the scientific and technological sector have put into action the decisions of the Party Central Committee and the State Council to support socio-economic development, support reform and opening up. We have rallied the strength nationwide. We have focused on 4 areas to build a new strategic layout of scientific and technological development. We have combined both major projects, and self-promoted programs. In serving the economy, we have made breakthroughs in key and core technologies to move industries toward the medium-high end and support manufacturing upgrading. Emerging technologies are applied to cultivate new industries and new business forms, inspiring AI and digital economy to meet the people's needs. In response to major needs of the country, we have provided key underpinning through engineering progress in major projects such as Hong Kong Zhuhai Macau Bridge and the Beijing International Airport in Daxing. And to protect the people's life and health, we have organized the best minds nationwide in COVID-19 research and development on testing kits, medication, and treatment. We have made breakthroughs to support a successful battle against the virus. And the people now have access to better quality medical research outcomes, such as materials and medicine. We have tapped into the enthusiasm of researchers through various measures. The people are the most important factor in science, technology, and innovation. Over the past decade, we have further improved the cultivation, assessment, encouragement, and introduction of talent to foster an enabling environment. We have formed the national lab system with Chinese characteristics at a faster pace and continuously improve the research capacity of universities and institutes. We have stayed committed to openness and innovation and built a new landscape in international cooperation that is multi-tiered and multidimensional. International cooperation is an important component of the development of science and technology. Over the past decade, we have cooperated with 161 countries and regions. By building partnerships, we have pursued Belt and Road cooperation on the STI regions and in biomedicine and health sciences. We have promoted international cooperation. In the future, China will only open wider to international cooperation. We are ready to communicate with international counterparts and contribute more to the scientific progress and the sustainable development of the world. In the meantime, we are subtly aware that there are still weaknesses and short links in China's STI in basic research, high-end professionals, and key and core technologies. We must be prepared for overcoming the risks. We are convinced that with the strong leadership of the Party Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, we will only make new breakthroughs in science, technology, and innovation to achieve self-sufficiency of high-standard independent strength and make new and greater contributions to present our outcomes as we celebrate the 20th CPC National Congress. Thank you, Minister Wang. Please identify your affiliations before asking questions.
先这边吧，第二排这位女记者，第二排。对。
谢谢新华社记者提问。党的18大以来，
From Xinhua News Agency, since the 18th CPC National Congress, science and technology are playing a bigger role in supporting development. As we implement the 4 focuses identified by General Secretary Xi Jinping, what will science, technology, and innovation play in high-quality development?
Thank you for your question. I think we need to first identify what is high-quality development. There are many indicators, and the key ones are the factors. How to achieve high-quality development in SNT area? We believe that requires the participation of local entities and relevant industries, the enterprises in talent and cultivating and major infrastructure projects. And also we need to leverage the transformative power of science and technologies to provide supporting for new growth areas in our economies. So that means new technologies will create new industries. Where through artificial intelligence, big data, blockchain, and new technologies, through their application, we have been able to foster new business forms and business models. And in this area, we have been ranking number 2nd in the world. For example, we have created new areas like semiconductor, lighting, and photovoltaic. These areas are very strong in our country. And new energy vehicles have been a new growth area of China. The production and sales in this area, in this sector, has been ranking number 1 in the world for many years. Our ministry have been introducing plans in the ultra-high voltage transmission system. And now have significantly increased the efficiency of our power transmission in this area. And our demonstration programs have been popularized nationwide. Our science and technologies have been supporting our major projects, like Beidou satellite system and Fuxing and high-speed rail. We have successfully developed the Deep Sea 1 Explorer, which marked the new era in our marine oil exploration sector. And next, our SNT companies have increased their input, and their R&D investment has increased by 76%, and their R&D expenditure deduction ratio has increased significantly. 10 years ago, there were less than 50,000 SNT companies in our country, and now this number has increased to more than 330,000. And in China, market entities has a total number of 150 million.
上缴税额由2012年的0.8万亿增加到2021年的2.3万亿。
And now the tax revenue from these SNT companies has increased to 2.3 trillion yuan. And more than 90% of the innovation board in Shanghai Stock Exchange have come from these companies. And Hong Kong, Macau, Guangdong Greater Bay Area has become a hotbed for the SNT clusters. 23 national independent innovation demonstration zones and 169 high-tech zones have become driving forces for our high-quality development. And these 169 high-tech zones have been based for most of the high-tech companies in China. They have created 9.2% of jobs for fresh graduates from universities. This year, in the first 4 months, the companies in these 167 high-tech zones have achieved 13.7 trillion yuan of revenues, up by 7.8%. And now we are through S&T development, we have created a strong talent pool and leading to a new path of strong industries, strong economy, and strong national strength. Through developing this sector, we have mobilized talent resources across disciplines to create new developments in our major projects, such as the space exploration. Just now, we have learned that the Shenzhou 14 spacecraft has connected to our space lab, and this marks a new stage in our space program. Going forward, we will continue to strengthen basic research, application of technologies, and boost innovation. We will give entities and companies a stronger role in this innovation system and to create a new growth area for high-quality development. Next question, please. Thank you. China News Radio. General Secretary Xi has said that science popularization should be equally important as science innovation. And after the 18th Party Congress, what achievements have been made in this area? What are the problems that needs to be addressed? What are the future priorities? Thank you for your question. In the past decade, thanks to our work in science popularization, the Chinese people's science literacy has doubled for each 5 years. In the 13th five-year plan period, the literacy ratio was 6.2%. And by 2020, this ratio has been increased to 10.56%. That is an outcome achieved thanks to increased mobilization capacity of a science popularization program and a more sophisticated organization system, which is focused on planning by provincial governments, resource distribution by municipality-level governments, and implementation by county-level governments. And this system is also supported by a lot of community-level service centers with the help of S&T volunteers. And through this work, we have been able to build a high-quality science popularization system focusing on brand, platform, mechanism, team, reform, and venue. We have a general brand for science popularization that is called China Science Communication. It focuses not only on offline popularization, but also online services. Its online resources it has a total of 53 terabytes online resources with 715 communication channels covering providing services for more than 41.6 billion people. And this platform has played an important role during the pandemic. Another contributing factor is the rapid development of our modern sci-tech museum system. In 2012, we had only 118 physical science museums, and now we have 408. And another type of museum with Chinese characteristics is mobile science museums. And these mobile museums have gone for 4,944 tours. And our science popularization caravans have covered more than 15 million kilometers in their travel. We have established a total of more than 1,000 middle school science museums for villages. And there are more than 15 million online users of our digital science museums. Our relevant ministries have jointly built a rumor-busting platform. And we have mobilized 125 renowned organizations to build a China Alliance for Science Literacy. More than 2.13 billion sci-tech workers have registered as S&T volunteers. In order to implement the spirit in the congratulatory message by General Secretary Xi to the 2018 World Conference on Science Literacy, which has been held for 4 years in a row, we have been working to build a world organization for science literacy. And also our activities like the Belt and Road Youth Makers Camp have also been carried out continuously. But also, like you mentioned, there are issues that need to be addressed in the future. We have seen imbalance between regions and between urban and rural areas that requires continued efforts. But first, we will strengthen coordination between relevant ministries and continue to boost all society participation to build a good atmosphere for science popularization. And second, we will guide more resources and services to underdeveloped regions, especially western regions of China, and will vigorously carry out programs to support areas like Xinjiang, Tibet, and border areas to narrow the regional gap. Third, we'll continue to provide support for rural revitalization through science and technology. We will deepen our programs like providing popularization services for 100 counties and to address the imbalance issue. Next question. Thank you. Technological Science Daily. From manned space programs to lunar probe program, from hybrid rise to nuclear power, our major projects have attracted world attention. Could you share with us your role in supporting economic social development, and what has the Chinese Academy of Engineering played its role?
Thank you for your question. You just mentioned the development of engineering projects in China over the past decade. Minister Wang just touched upon some of them in his opening remarks. On June 3, 2014, General Secretary Xi Jinping spoke at the International Conference on Engineering, Science and Technology, in which he emphasized that engineering benefits mankind and science and technology create the future. I believe that is highly relevant for us today, because it highlights the important role of engineering in socio-economic development. In particular, over the past decade since the 18th Party National Congress, under the strong leadership of the Party Central Committee and the State Council, China's engineering, science and technology undertakings have made historic achievements, and it's fair to say that the past decade witnessed greatest advances and fastest improvement in China's engineering strength, from manned space programs to lunar probe, and all the way to other projects. I have the following points that I want to bring to your attention. First, we have built a large number of world-class projects. For example, the Tianhe Space Station, Tianhe Mars probe, the Chang'e lunar probe, C919 airplane, the Deep Sea No.1 gas field, and on land, Chinese bridges, ports, high-speed rails have attracted global attention. These projects are bright name cards for China. For example, high-speed rails, very famous, the Hong Kong, Zhuhai, and Macau Bridge, the Three Gorges Dam, Xiangjiaba Dam, among others. They are equally important as the Three Gorges Dam. These projects are all completed over the past decade. Academicians in the Chinese Academy of Engineering have widely participated in these projects. Most importantly, it's because of the wise leadership of the CPC Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core. We have mobilized nationwide strength and resources. It's fair to say these projects would not be possible and cannot be found elsewhere without the leadership of the party. And like Minister Wang just said, whether it's the chips, AI manufacturing, new cars, data ports, and other core technologies, new energy, UHV transmission, and advanced nuclear power. The academicians have contributed to the breakthroughs in major technologies, and these technologies have contributed to the well-being of mankind. We rely on technologies to achieve food security, and in the fight against COVID-19, we rely on the contribution of Zhong Nanshan, Zhang Boli, and other academicians. And engineering technologies have also facilitated the battle against poverty, against the pollution, and the improvement of eco-environment. With technologies, contributions has been made to building a moderately prosperous society in all respects, achieving the first centenary goal, and achieving poverty alleviation, and national gas transmission, water diversion, and big data projects have also seen the important contribution of academicians in the Academy for Engineering. Thank you.
Good morning. O Globo Brazilian newspaper. The recent measures announced by the State Council to boost the economy highlights incentives to the technology sector. Which specific areas of the technology industry could help most in the recovery of the economy from the COVID lockdowns? And do the recent measures mean an easing on the regulatory restriction that was applied on the sector last year? Thank you.
好，谢谢这位记者的提问。请翻译一下。
巴西环球报记者提问：最近国务院宣布提振经济的措施，突出了对科技行业的激励。那请问，在新冠肺炎疫情后的经济复苏当中，哪一个科技的产业是能够扮演最大的角色的？这一系列的激励是否也意味着去年对科技行业的监管限制有所放松？
我来回答一下，谢谢你这个提问啊，就是
Thank you for your question.
科技在经济产业发展顺利的时候
Of course, when economy performs well, science and technology play a very big role. And when economy faces challenges, S&T should also play its role. You asked about which specific industry or discipline could play the biggest role for the recovery after COVID lockdowns. I think In a scientific perspective, all disciplines are connected. Therefore, economic activities to thrive that requires coordinated advances in all disciplines and sciences. So that is the best way to create a strong support for economic performance. So in order to facilitate economic recovery, that requires strength and effort from all scientific sectors. Now, maybe some sectors would contribute more, some would contribute less. So I think we need to look at it for a more systematic way. So we need to use this approach to look at which sectors could play a bigger role in facilitating economic recovery. And regarding the second part of your question, actually, all the measures by governments combine restrictions and incentives. They are not always separate. We need to focus on the positive effect of the measures and the regulation on the economic performance. If it follows, it facilitates the development of our economy, of our companies, then they are good measures. But of course, we always require good compliance from people working in relevant sectors. Where for us, we place more importance on incentives. We trust that our entrepreneurs and people working in these areas will be able to bear in mind the importance of creating positive effect for people's livelihoods. And that is the principle we hold. We are applying to, but of course we may apply some adjustments to our policies based upon the situation at hand and the realities on the ground. So what I want to stress here is incentives and restrictions are not contradictory. We need to apply, what we need to do is apply the right measures to what is at hand now. Next question.
你好，中央广播电视总台新闻中心记者。在各项科技体制改革一直是锐意进取，勇于
The reform of our science and technology system has been very important in our overall reform. So after the 18th Party Congress, what achievement has been made in this area, and what will be the priorities for our future reform? Thank you for your question. This is an important one. Like you mentioned, this is a very important area of reform. Our general logic is that the development of science S&T sector not only have to support our economic development, but also have to support the development of our scientific system. We have been applied this approach of dual engine of science innovation and innovation for institutions. This is an application of our dialectical thinking in Marxism. We want to use our reform to provide a better atmosphere and environment for people to participate in science and technology sectors, to participate in innovation. there is a general plan for deepening reform of the science and technology system, which includes 143 tasks. And in recent years, we have specified the steps that need to be taken. And these steps are interconnected. This is how we have been deepening this reform. And this is an ongoing process because reform always needs to continue. Through this reform of our system and institutions, we want to make this system more applicable or more adapted to new realities. We have been deepening reform of the assessment system, the assessment for programs, for talents, and for institutions. Assessment can be carried out through punishment, for compensation, and for rewards, and by rewards. No matter you are pursuing popularization or application of technologies or development of some basic research, assessment is a very important factor. And we have been applying this policy of increasing orientation of knowledge to knowledge and value. The distribution system is now more knowledge and value-oriented. And through an assessment system that focuses on quality, efficiency, and contribution, we aim to create an environment that will allow the S&T personnel to be more dedicated to research and pursue excellence and free from outside interference. And we are also taking special programs to relieve burdens on relevant personnel and address issues that have been calling for solutions. And we are also focusing our reform on areas that are related to key sectors that bear on people's livelihoods, for example, like health and medical services. This is an important factor in our reform for the resource allocation system to increase the efficiency of our S&T funds. So how to more efficiently use the funds from our taxpayers to support the programs that are most needed for our people. This is a question that we have been bearing in mind. So we have built a system that is based on trust, a fund management system that is based on trust. And this system is also supported by by sophisticated regulations. A people-centered approach, where scientists who are taking responsibility for the usage of those funds and so generally speaking, the funds will be used for the activities of our scientists. So it's a people-centered, not fund-centered approach. And also, we are strengthening the supporting policies for application and transformation of science research outcomes. Because what is important for research is application of outcomes. What we are doing now is trying to facilitate the application chain.
这个成果转化中间的
And
使用
this
权啊、复
reform
制权啊、收
includes
益权等等，我们尽可能的赋予科技创新的主体和人
includes
员。
facilitation of
另外呢，我们就要
the
有
whole
一
process
些科技
from
转化的
research
链条平台
to
包括众创空间，包括科技孵化
application
器，包
by
括高新区、
industries
高新
and
技术企业
also
等一
financial
系列，也
support.
包括加速器。
We have been revising
这些
relevant
呢就形成了
regulations
什
and
么？只要
laws.
你想做成果转化，政府在不同的环节都会有不同的服务、不同的支持。那么在这
So
里呢，也
now,
给大家讲一
if
个数。
companies or
2021
institutions
年
want
全
to
国技术合同
apply
成
their
交额已
outcomes
经达到了3.73万亿元。
in
刚才我讲
every
全社会
section
研发
or
投
step
入
of this application,
是
they will be
2.79
able to
万亿
get
元，
governance services.
也就是
And
说
I can give you
它
some
已经超
numbers
过
in
了，
2021.
呢，
The
从
total contract,
这个
technological
时间这个跨
contract
度来
have
讲，跟
valued
10
to
年前相比，
3.73
提高了
trillion yuan
5.8
of
倍。
country. That is 5.8
第四点
times
还
of
是
the
要弘
figure
扬
in
科学家精神
2012.
中国的科学家应该要弘扬我们科学家精神。
The next
那么
part
怎么
of
样
our reform
能
is
够
about
这个用精
fostering
神引领
more
有科
scientist
学的价值观，
spirit among our
这一点是非
science
常重要的。
community.
因为科学家精神是科技文化的一个
So
非
we
常重要的
believe
组
this
成。
spirit is a key
在这
part
方面呢，我们
of our scientific culture.
也专门出了科学家精神，同时有一大批，包括刚才小红这院长提到的我们一大批科学家在抗疫中间，在重大工程方面。
Just like President Li Xiaohong mentioned, a lot of our scientists have contributed a lot to our major efforts, for example, fighting COVID-19. But there are traditional Chinese scientists, they do a lot, but they don't talk
但是呢，有些
much.
还做隐姓埋名人，所以
Well,
这里面
sometimes
我
they
们想
are
就是把这样一
like
个科学
working
家精神这个
anonymously.
基因要代代相传，这个是最宝贵的。
And this,
成果出来，
we believe, is
有的
a
是论文，有
precious
的转化了。
spirit of Chinese
但是这种
scientists,
精
and
神
we
谱
need
系
to
如果
carry
一直传
forward
下
the
去，
spirit.
中国的科技是最有希望的，并且能吸引我们
Because
一代
by
又一
carrying
代
forward
人
such
加入到
spirits, that will give
科研人员这个队伍里
China's scientific community more hope of
所以下一
growing
步我
bigger
们还
and
是要用
stronger in the
坚持
future.
改革，就是改
Well,
革
going forward,
来促
we'll
创
stay
新，
committed to
创新
reform all
来
our
促发展。
scientific and
按照这个逻
technological
辑，我
systems.
们不断的推动
And through these
中国
reforms,
科
we
技
can
创新
promote
本身
the
的发展
development
和进一步的来
of
支撑引
our
领我们的经济
SNT
社会、
sector
国家安全、人
to
民健
allow
康
it to
等
better
等方面
support our
提
economic
升和
performance,
发
to
展。
improve,
谢谢。
to support improvement of our people's
请
livelihood.
继续提
Thank
问。
you. Next
第一排
question.
吧，第一排这位男记者。
谢谢发言人。中国日报记者提
Thank
问
you, China
近
Daily.
些年，我们经常在媒体上看
In
到
recent
中科院
years,
出
we
了像
have
深海勇
often
士、
seen that
量子计算原
the
型机、
CAST
二氧化
have
碳人工合成
created
电
a lot
等，
of
在我国乃至世界上都令人
important
瞩目的
outcomes
成
that
果。
have attracted
能否
attention
请
in
那个侯
not
院
only
长
China but
侯
also
院长
at
介
the
侯
world
院
at
长介绍一
large?
下，
Could you
就
share
中科
with
院作为
more
国家战
about
略科技力量，
the
在过去这10年中取得了哪些
signature
代表性的
achievements
成
of
就？
CAST
谢
in
谢。
past decade?
谢谢这位记者朋友的提问。
Well, thank you for your question.
18大以来，习
Since
近
the
平总
18th
书记
CPC
对
National
中国科
Congress
学
General
提出了
Secretary
4个
Xi
率先，
Jinping
率先
laid
实
down
现
4
科学技术的
requirements
跨越式发展，率先
requiring
建
us
成
to take the lead in
创新
achieving
人才高
leapfrog
地，
development of
率
science and
先
technology,
建成
in
国
building a
家高水
national
平科学智
innovation
库，
talent
率
highland,
先
in building a national
建
high-level
成世界一
science
流
and
科
technology
研机
think
构
tank, and
和
in
两
building
加
a
快应用，
world-class research
加快
institution.
构建原始
He
创
also
新水
required
源
us
地，
to
加
pick
快
up
攻
speed
克
in building
核心
ourselves into a
技术，
source of original innovation and make
努
breakthroughs
力
in
抢
key
占
core
科技制高点
technologies.
的新要求。
As we strive
我
to
们
seize the
深感
commanding
使命光
heights
荣
of
责任
science
重
and
大。
technology,
10年来，
we feel deeply
全院
honored
科研人
to
员
take on
坚
this
守
mission.
使命
Over
定
the
位，
past
攻
decade,
坚克难，
researchers
勇
in the
攀高峰，
academy had
产出了一
adhered
批
to this
具有标志性、
positioning.
引
We
领
have
性的
overcome
重
difficulties
大
and
创新进程。
produced a number of landmark
一是
and
紧
leading
扣国家重大
achievements.
需求，
First,
在
we have
保障
closely followed the
国家重大
national
工
needs
突破卡脖子
and
技
played
术
an
等方
important
面发挥
role
关键作用。
in major
比如
national
在载
projects
联航天
and
工
making
程中，
breakthroughs
中科院
in
牵
the
头负
choking
责
points.
空间应用系
For
统，
example, in
研
manned
制了
space
数百
projects,
台有效载
CAS
荷，
took the lead
在
in the
探月工
space
程中
application
主要承
system
担地
and
面应用
developed
系统、
hundreds of sets
有
of
效
payloads.
载荷分系统等任务，为嫦娥开展科学
And in lunar exploration project, CAST undertook tasks such as the ground application system payload subsystem provides key technical support for Chang'e's success. In Beidou 3, Global Navigation and Positioning System, we have undertook the tasks for 12 satellites. On deep space and deep sea science and technology, we have developed a number of scientific satellites, such as 悟空墨子、慧眼、太极 and 广目, enabling China to occupy a favorable position in international competition. We have also developed a genealogy of deep-sea equipment, such as Deep-Sea Warrior, Strivers, and Haidou No. 1, leading China's marine exploration into the 10,000-meter depth. And we have fully tapped the needs in aero engine blades, ultra-resolution lithography machines, bionic synthetic rubber, high-end bearings, and high-performance materials. We have made breakthroughs in these areas and provided strong industrial support. Second, we have pushed boundaries in basic research and continue to enhance original innovation capabilities by producing achievements in ion-based high-temperature superconductivity, nano-limited catalysis, quantum computing prototype, CO2 synthetic starch, etc. And in frontier fields such as condensed matter physics, molecular science, nanomaterials, and stem cells, China has entered among the first in the world. In the ranking of the Natural Index that measures the level of basic research, CAST has ranked first among the global institutions for 9 consecutive years. And the FAST, LASSO, and other major infrastructures led by CAST that are globally famous have become important tools for basic research in science and technology and supported our regional achievements in pulsar research, neutrino oscillation, magnetic confinement, nuclear fusion, and other aspects. I'd like to mention that the FAST facility is also open to foreign observation projects. It is now open to 27 projects in 14 countries. Third, we have promoted scientific and technological achievements out of the labs. Over the past decade, about 110,000 items of technological advances have been commercialized. For example, the Shuguang supercomputer, AI chips, stem cell repair technology, carbon-ion cancer treatment devices have supported relevant industries. And technologies such as coal-to-ethanol and coal-to-low-carbon olefins have been successfully commercialized by CAST, providing solutions for clean and efficient use of coal and energy security. We have also successfully isolated the world's first strain of coronavirus, developed a variety of vaccines, testing reagents, and drugs, and actively supported the fight against the pandemic. We have also organized more than 1,000 researchers from more than 40 institutes to jointly carry out a campaign to protect the black soil in 3 northeastern provinces and Inner Mongolia, and have achieved initial results. For more information, please refer to the handouts. Thank you.
请继续提问。第一排吧，这位记者。
谢谢光明日报记者提问。近年来，国家自然科学基金深入推进系统性改革，资助绩效
The National Natural Science Foundation of China have adopted reform measures in recent years and achieved initial results. Could you brief with us the measures and outcomes?
Thank you for your interest in our foundation. After the 18th Party Congress, the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core has applied high importance to basic research. And we are now in the period where global challenges and transformation of scientific research paradigms have intertwined. So we have to shoulder our responsibilities in the area to contribute our share to the development and high-quality development of our basic research. So we have established the goals of pursuing forward-looking ideas, well-established regulations, and fairness and high efficiency in our work. We have identified systematic reform plans to improve our mechanisms for funding, for assessment, and for layout of disciplines. So we have made continuous efforts in the past 5 years in all directions. So let me brief you on our work in the past 5 years. First, on reforming the funding management policy. First, we have been more specific in our orientation. First, we encourage exploration and innovation. That is generally talked by working to break through from 0 to 1. And second area is a focus on frontier areas. And third area is seeking breakthroughs in key areas. And the fourth is pursuing interconnection of different areas. So our assessment and application focus on the above-mentioned 4 areas have covered more than 85% of projects. It has increased the quality of the programs that are covered by our foundation. And the second, we have been improving our assessment mechanism, and we have focused on 3 aspects: responsibility, credibility, and contribution. And now we have more than 46,000 assessment experts. And according to our feedback from applicants, they believe that more than 85% of the applicants have given us their feedback that they believe the assessment opinions are helpful or very helpful. And this ratio has also reached 79.3% for applicants that did not receive funds in the end. And we have also, and third, we have been also improving the layout of our disciplines. And we are not over dividing the disciplines. For the funding mechanism reform, we have applied innovation exploration program. In the past 2 years, we funded 204 programs that are innovative in nature. And second, we have been supporting the upgrade of the funding mechanism. The outstanding youth projects have funded the yearly funded projects. The yearly funded projects under the outstanding young youth project have increased from 200 to 315. And for youth programs, in the past 4 years, we funded about 775,000 programs, then increased by 20%. We also created a cross-disciplinary department to fund talents in cross-disciplinary research. Next, we have been improving a diversified input mechanism for basic research. We have reformed the joint funds, and for different entities, for example, the fund contribution share has been specified. For example, for companies, it's 1:4, and for local governments, 1:3, and for ministries, is 1:2. And through these areas, we have been able to attract more than 12 billion yuan of funds outside our foundation. And this joint foundation fund has accounted for 7% of our total fund revenue, fund budget. And fifth, we have been improving the application process to streamline approval procedures to make it easier for young talents to apply for funds. But now we have streamlined our 9 departments into 4 areas of basic science, technological science, life and medical science, and interdisciplinary combination. So, through this reform, we have been able to use our funds to guide personnel in different areas to work together on complicated and comprehensive issues. But now and for issues, we think that our scientists need to work more on transforming their research paradigms. So in the future, we will work on this issue and be more forward-looking and try to contribute more to the new development stage and fostering of new development paradigm. Thank you for your interest in that work. Next question. Thank you, CNBC. I have 2 questions. First is about the training for talents. Are there any plans? And second, about in which areas do you plan to invest more for building a country strong in science and technology, and how will you ensure the efficiency and effectiveness of this investment?
Well, let me take your question. You asked first about talent and then about the allocation of funding. With perspective development, we are shifting from factors-driven to innovation-driven. And it's basically about people. Innovation in nature is driven by people. That's why we place great importance on the development of talent, like I just mentioned in answering other questions, that we focus on the cultivation of talented people. First, as government departments, our responsibility is to create an enabling environment. We're not in a position to judge who is a talent, who's not. The most important thing for us is to enable more people to become talent, especially innovation talent, like the young scientists and STI professionals in all sectors. So policy-wise, law-wise, and service-wise, and culture-wise, we must create an enabling environment and good conditions for them. In particular, for those interested in innovation, basic research, application of research results, and management of high-tech companies, they must be provided equal and enabling environment to fully play their role. We must make sure that everyone feels they have a right position in this large picture. Instead of a one-size-fits-all approach, and apply the same standards to people working both in basic research and in managerial sectors in businesses. Second, in terms of structure and scale, we have made improvements in the development of talent. China ranks number 1 in the number of talented people. It has something to do with our big population, and it is also important. And it's also because of the development of policies. High-end talented people are emerging in different sectors as we speak. In interdisciplinary research, multiple sectors, in predicting frontier research, we see a number of talented people. They are a key force that we rely on as we build a country strong in science and technology, as China strives to contribute more to the world. We rely heavily on the talented people. As to funding, the funding are allocated based on the activities of people. What kind of innovative activities do we need? What kind of innovative forces do we have? What are their needs? How can we better provide them with a better environment in whether basic research or the application and commercialization of results? We must allocate resources in a way that meets government orientations, laws, regulations, and other national strategies. In the meantime, we're also working hard to encourage private sectors to invest more in innovation. We're also keen in international cooperation. We encourage scientists to cooperate with international counterparts in major programs by providing them with services and financing. Such as basic research, we will invest more because basic research is about from 0 to 1, from uncertainty to certainty. So we must enhance basic research to explore the technological pathways. At the same time, in areas concerning the people's life, health, and well-being, we will increase the allocation of resources and services for the researchers. Thank you.
好，请继续提问。我们第一排吧，这位女记者。
谢谢主持人，深圳卫视执新闻记者提问，想要请问一下，中科院在过去10年中，在深化科技体制改革和创新人才动力建设方面，是做了哪些探索？
In deepening structural reform and building a talent pool, do you have any good practices and experience? Well, thank you for your question. Mr. Zhigang just shared with us information on the building of reform of the mechanism and the talent team for the whole nation to build bright synergy. And for us in CAST, we have deepened the systematic reform to reinvigorate agencies, talent, equipment, installations, funding, and projects to build synergy. First, we have optimized the layout of research. We have built comprehensive national science centers in Beijing, Huairou, Shanghai, Zhangjiang, Anhui, Hefei, and Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area, and focusing on major strategic needs of the country, such as network security, aerospace, rare earth, and ecological security. We have established many institutes. And also we have explored the construction of 10 overseas science and education cooperation centers. Second, we have promoted the reform of scientific research management. Our basic research must meet major strategic national needs. That's why we issued the 10 articles of basic research and reformed the topic selection mechanism, management, resource allocation, assessment, and evaluation. And in order to ensure the smooth implementation of key core technology research tasks, we have formulated 8 points of tackling key problems to ensure that backbone scientific researchers concentrate on cracking problems and their needs are addressed. And in key technologies that we need to make breakthroughs, we must encourage researchers to concentrate and focus on the key tasks, and their living needs must be fully addressed and met. And we pay special attention to the institutional advantages of the Academy, strengthened multidisciplinary coordination. We have coordinated the whole Academy, from basic research to core key technology breakthroughs and to comprehensive demonstration. It's a whole-chain layout. Third, we have created a highland of innovative talent. We have promoted the comprehensive and coordinated development of the CAST talent teams, deepened reform on the academician system. We have strengthened its academic and honorary positioning and optimized the structure of the academician team, and emphasized that they must play by example in 4 aspects. We have provided special support to young researchers and teams and encourage them to challenge scientific problems and carry out research, original research. And in the National Natural Science Foundation, scientists are encouraged to select their own topic. And in CAS, we solicit important scientific questions from the science community. And we make a list and encourage the young top-notch researchers to sign up for them and crack the key problems. We will strengthen the building of a talent pool. We have selected 12,000 special research assistants on their postdoctoral studies. The 2 affiliated universities of CAS have trained and provided to the society nearly 150,000 graduates. We're also vigorously carrying forward the spirit of scientists by fully carrying forward the fine traditions of the old generation of scientists. We have strengthened academic integrity and ethics and cultivated a clean and healthy scientific research environment. In the next step, CAS will be guided by the Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics. We'll focus on the important goals and targets set out by General Secretary Xi Jinping. We'll focus on our main responsibilities and contribute more to building China's scientific and technological strength and self-reliance. Thank you.
中国青年报记者提问。
China Youth Daily, the Chinese Academy of Engineering proposed to build itself into a national high-end think tank. How do you make plans about it? And do you have any specific measures on supporting high-quality development and scientific self-reliance? Thank you for your question. The Chinese Academy of Engineering recently proposed to build itself into a national high-end think tank that meets national needs and be down to earth. This is a proposal made in accordance with the requirements of the Party Central Committee and the State Council. We're making the proposal to provide suggestions to the decision-making process of the Party Central Committee and the State Council. They're mainly provided by academicians. And by being down to earth, we mean to support local socioeconomic development and the strategic studies. That's why we are making this proposal. And the Academy will play its role as guided by decisions of the Party Central Committee and the State Council and the instructions of General Secretary Xi Jinping last year. When he pointed out that the most essential feature of building a new development paradigm is to achieve a high level of self-reliance and self-improvement. So first, we will continue to improve the national strategic technological strength. We will fully tap the role of academicians in leading academic work, research on key core technologies. A second, we will build ourselves into a world-famous high-end think tank that is leading the efforts in the country. We will more proactively provide our advisory opinions to the central leadership, and we will make specific contribution to socio-economic development. And on breaking choking points in technologies, our academicians work in different localities across the country, and we at the Academy are able to bring them together. Our 9 colleges cover all the leading figures in all the disciplines, engineering disciplines, and we can bring them together to serve national strategic needs on key projects. That is what we can do, that is what we are good at. And fourth, in global scientific and technological governance, we can tell China's stories well and actively participate in that process. Our communication is partly affected by COVID-19, and in the future, we will do more to promote international cooperation on scientific and technological governance. Will stay open to increase China's voice and influence in global scientific and technological governance. These are the 4 aspects that China will do, that our Academy will do, as we implement the central leadership's decisions, national strategies, and take up our mission to build our strategic strength in science and technology.
谢谢主持人，我是中新社的记者。
From
这
China
10 年
News
来，我们
Agency,
国家这个科技硬实力的发展非常迅猛。
decades
刚才
saw
侯院长和李
rapid
院长都介
development
绍
in
了一些
China's
大国重器、大国工
hard
程，
power in science and
在国际上都
technology,
很有影响力。
like the
相对
major
而言，我们那
facilities
个以
and
科技
projects
期刊
you
为
just
代表的科技
touched
软
upon.
实力，可能发展的相对较
Yet our soft
缓慢
power,
一些。
such as the journals,
有很多科研
may
人员重要
saw
的科技成
rather
果论文要发表，
compromised
他第一
development.
时间都想到的要投这个自
Researchers
然、科
immediately
学
think
等这个
about
欧美的国际期刊。
publishing
想
their
重一下我们
articles
科技
on
界的领导第四
European
怎么看
and
还有我
American
们这10
journals
年来，我们这
instead of
个
our own.
科技期刊建设
What's our take
取
on
得了哪
that?
些进展？
And could
未
you
来
share
在
with
提高
us
科技
the
软实力方面，
progress
我们有没有
to
自己
build
的
our
一些具
own
体的
scientific
举措
and
规划？
technological
谢谢。
journals? Do you have further plans?
我来回答这个问题。
Well, let me
谢谢
take
你
your
提的一个
question.
非常专业的问题啊。
Well, this
这个
question is very
这些
professional.
年呢，我们国家科技工作者呀，
In
发表
recent
论文
years, our scientists,
可以说是井
in
喷，
terms of issuing essays on science and technology, I think there has been a big surge in the numbers. So in total, we issued 680,000 essays in English journals.
那么，相比照而言呢，我们国家自己办的英文刊呢偏少。
Where comparatively, China have fewer English version journals. This is indeed an issue. But our central leadership has attached great importance to this issue. General Secretary Xi Jinping chaired a meeting of the Central Committee on Deepening Reform, and this meeting issued an opinion document on deepening the reform to foster world-class scientific and technological journals. So with the implementation of this document, we have made rapid progress.
我国科技期刊的数量翻了一番。
We're now
这个刊均的影响因子也有过去有这个。
The number of Chinese English version journals included in global rankings have been doubled, and the impact factors of our journals, 25 journals are made into top 5%, and the average impact factor of our journals have increased by 2.5 times. And 20 journals have made in top 3 of their respective disciplines, and 3 journals have made into the global top 100.
那么，但是呢，我们确实我们的英文刊呢。
But like I mentioned, indeed, our English version journals have developed very rapidly. From 244 10 years ago to the figure now 436, but it's still not enough, far from enough to meet our need in issuing English essays. So now we are implementing a new journal excellence action plan. Its main aim is to expand the scale of our leading journals and promote more outstanding journals into world-class journals. This year we had more than 50 new journals, and some of them are registered outside China as English journals. And if they meet certain standards, will be also to register in China. Going forward, we'll also advance the digitalization of these publishing mechanisms and to cultivate more competitive publishing institutions. We will build an open resource platform with digital services that meets international standards and attract more high-level scientists to participate in the development of Chinese journals. Let me add one point. Mr. Zhang gave a very good answer to your question, and from the perspective of CAE, I think our journals achieved very rapid development in the past decade, and we have 1+9+1 layout for the CAE. There's one main journal and 9 sub journals and plus 1 English version journal. The main journal is engineering, and we want to make it a type like the famous journal Nature. And for the 9 sub journals, they will have we will have sub journals on areas like agriculture. And in order to make engineering as famous like Nature and Science in the future, we need to do a lot of work. And the impact factor of this journal was 12 last year. And this is a very outstanding achievement, which is recognized by the international community. And also the CAE has been actively echoing the calling by the China Association for Science Technology to develop a journals. The next question. Thank you very much, Sansha TV. And in recent years, we are able to feel the difference brought by science and technology in our life. And could you share with us more about the specific measures and progress taken in improving people's life? For example, food security, rural revitalization, and life and health of people. What are the future priorities? Well, thank you for your question. Of course, SNT for people's life is a very important direction of our work, and that covers many areas related to people's life, like for example, daily necessities, medical service. In all those areas, SNT will be able to play its role. So I want to answer your question in the following aspects. The first is food security, you mentioned. So in this area, we're taking a dual-pronged approach. First is production. And the production relies on land. Apart from normal farmland, in our country, there are other types of land that can be cultivated into farmland. For example, arid and semi-arid land. For example, saline alkali soil. And other issues are also covered, like protection of black soil. Some of the work has been carried out for 25 years or nearly 10 years. And for arid and semi-arid land in Yanglin, Gansu province, we have carried out a project for many years. And some varieties of grain have been successfully planted. And more than 100 million mu of grain have been planted in those arid and semi-arid farmland. And in some areas, the saline alkali soil have been also been changed into farmland for 6 and 7 years. The salt ratio in some of the saline alkali soil is more than 0.3%. But our technology has been able to produce grain and food on such soil. In China, we have more than 1 billion mu of arid and semi-arid farmland, and about 1.5 billion mu of saline alkali soil, and about 2/3 of those lands can be transformed into fertile farmland with the support of our technologies, and about cultivating seeds. Wheat, corn, and rice, the main varieties are all indigenous varieties in China. So I think there is still huge room for us to tap the potential of special land and also new varieties to ensure our food security. And now we are working to achieve the carbon peak and carbon neutrality goals. Then how to make our power mix more environmentally friendly. So that comes to technologies like I mentioned, the ultra high voltage electricity generation and transmission technologies. And China is among the leading rank in these technologies. So based upon in light of our natural endowment, which has coal playing a major role in our energy mix, how can we better achieve the dual carbon, the carbon peak and the carbon neutrality goals, and how to reduce carbon dioxide emission? These are issues that we're working to address, and we hope that through our advancements in technological research and technological progress, we will be able to achieve more outcomes in these areas. And about protecting people's life and health. For example, when the COVID-19 pandemic began, within 1 week we were able to identify it as a coronavirus. And like 2 decades ago, when SARS epidemic erupted, we were for quite some time were unable to identify the source of the disease. But now we are able to identify the virus very quickly and produce quick test kits in very short period of time. And this showcases the development and the breakthroughs in our medical technologies. It is because with effective drugs and quick test kits that we have been able to effectively control the epidemic. And now with small molecular drugs that are going to be produced, maybe we can make more breakthroughs. This will contribute to a better therapeutic and diagnostic plans for the country. The next aspect is how we are using S&T progress to address the imbalance of development in China, to address the imbalance between urban and rural areas and between regions. How to facilitate the transition from poverty reduction to rural revitalization.
但同时，我们刚才选了这4个方面呢，作为重点呢，给大家介绍一下。谢谢。
So those are the main aspects that we are working. Thank you very much for your questions. Thank you.
好，谢谢各位媒体朋友。
That concludes our press conference today. Thank you.